So, are you confused by which courses you should take in your A level? It's actually pretty simple. And by the time you're finished watching this video, you should know exactly what classes you need to take because there are the right A level subjects and the wrong A level subjects. Okay. In this video, I'm going to walk you through multiple combinations based on your intended major. So, whether it's business finance or humanities or engineering, we will go through those. And there's a bonus. If you keep watching, I am going to tell you the general rule of thumb so you know which colleges require which scores because it's not printed anywhere, all right? But before we dive into subject combinations, let's talk about something more fundamental, your academic interest. So your academic interest helps colleges understand what you want to study, why you're interested in, and how you've already explored that interest so far in the last 4 years. Whether you're leaning towards economics, humanities, or engineering, your A-level subjects are your first academic signal. They show colleges that you're serious about the major you have selected. Can you get into a biology program if you've not taken a single science class? Very unlikely. And while that might be obvious, what's not as obvious is that some A-level subjects can make or break your applications, especially in the context of really great colleges in the US, right? And so what I want to talk to you about is complementary classes that you need to choose. And that's what we'll do as we're going through these subject combinations. So please listen on. I'm Tina Chulette. I am the founder of Blue Skies, an Ivy League consulting firm that has a 100% success rate, helping students get into amazing US universities. This channel will give you free access to everything I've learned from years in the industry, so you too can get into your dream college. To be frank, choosing A levels isn't complicated, but a lot of students overthink it, or they choose classes based on what sounds easy. Here's the truth. If you're serious about US college admissions, the subject choices matter more than you think. So let me give you a simple strategy of how you get it right. Point one, choose subjects that match your intended major, right? So if you want to be a computer science major, you need to take every math and coding class you can get your hands on, right? If you want to pursue economics, take every business or international trade or economics class you can get your hands on. And second is, if you're aiming for selective colleges, go for rigor. Top colleges care about challenging yourself. So when there's two options for a particular subject and one's harder than the other, choose the harder one, like math and further math, okay? If you want to pursue physics in college, then you better take further mathematics, right? Because you need to prove that you can take college level difficult courses so that when you get to college, you don't find academics difficult. So that is the basic logic, but what I still want is to write down exactly those subject combinations of the three kind of buckets of majors. So let's get into it and start there. So your first one is if you're interested in business, economics, or finance. Your second is any kind of engineering. And your third is going to be humanities. So that's like law, English, science, policy, history. But before we get into it, if you are feeling overwhelmed with all this information, take a look at my courses. They're linked at the bottom. It's step by step. You get access to downloads. You get key resources. It's just easier to understand than finding all the information and bits and pieces. So let's get into those subject combinations right now. So the best A-level subjects for business, economics, and finance, here are the core subjects to prioritize. Economics, strongly recommend. Mathematics, crucial for all business and finance tracks. Further mathematics, if you're aiming for LSE, Cambridge, or Wharton, go for it. Business studies is optional. It isn't as academically respected. It's easier, but if you can take it, if you're genuinely interested in it. Supporting subjects. For English literature or language, strengthens communication and writing, which is critical. You can take history or politics. It adds depth and economic thinking. A second language is also a good idea. It adds that international context. So here are those three subject combinations based on this. Option A is your traditional and strong, economics, math, English literature. Option B is if you're a quant focus, right? Especially for finance. Math, further math, economics. And option C is if you want balanced, right? Mathematics, economics, and business studies, all right? So let's talk about the best A-level subjects for engineering. The core subjects you want to prioritize: mathematics, non-negotiable. Further mathematics, strongly recommended if you want any top engineering program. Physics, pretty much essential for all branches of engineering. Chemistry, preferred, but required especially for chemical or medical engineering. Computer science, recommended for software or electrical fields. And then your supporting subjects, again, there's 3 of them. So English, it's pretty much required by US colleges. Literature or language is fine. Economics, it's good if you're interested in engineering or entrepreneurship. Design technology is good. It's acceptable, but it is not in any way a substitute for your core sciences. So here are those 3 sample combinations I want to tell you about. So your first, option A, for general engineering, mathematics, physics, chemistry. Option B is if you're software electrical focused, mathematics, physics, computer science. And option C is if you're doing top tier target, Cambridge, MIT, and all, mathematics, further mathematics, physics. Okay, so let's do that third major. So your best A-level subjects for humanities, that's, remember, law, politics, writing, history. The core subjects to prioritize: English literature, highly recommended. History, excellent if you want analytical and essay writing skills. Politics or philosophy, strong additions for law and public policy. Economics, useful for development, politics, IR, international relations. Global perspectives and research, GPR, it's really good for research-based majors. So let's go into your supporting subjects. Math will help you with becoming more well-rounded. A second language shows global engagement, okay? Psychology, sociology, geography, it basically deepens your social understanding. And here are my 3 sort of subject combinations that I tell you. So A is if you're traditional for a law humanities track, English literature, history, politics. The second option is if you're interested in international relations or political science, history, economics, global perspectives. And the last one is if you're trying to do like balance but a little bit lighter math, then English literature, economics, psychology. Okay, so now that we're through the subject combinations, you hopefully said, oh, that's pretty self-explanatory. If not, you should book a call and I can answer some of your questions live. Drop a comment on your confusion, I will respond. Unlike in the US, where we have the USA grades indicator, the GPA, you will notice that most colleges are not printing the required A-level scores, right? So based on my experience, here's what I can tell you about what is required, right? So if you are looking for the top colleges, that means the top 20, expect that you need at least 1 A star and 2 A's, ideally with the A star in a subject related to your major. Usually you need further mathematics, and traditional subjects are viewed a little bit more favorably, right? For engineering and economics, you need AAA, and a strong math is common. For mid-tier selective colleges like NYU, Boston U, AA, B, AAA, depending on your subject matter, less emphasis on further math, but still they value academic rigor, okay? And less selective colleges, 1A, 2Bs, or 3Bs might be acceptable. They're a lot more flexible in what your subject choices are. As I mentioned, it's not printed, but this is just a general rule of thumb that we like to use. So what are the takeaways? Subject selection matters. So do a lot in other aspects of your academics. I do suggest that you check out this video, Why Perfect Grades Aren't Enough for the Top 5 Colleges. You really need to understand what admissions committees care about. It's more than actually just A-level scores, but this is the starting. Choosing A-level subjects isn't about playing it safe or copying what other people are doing. It's about building a story that says, I know what I want to study and I am very serious about it. This is where most applicants get it wrong. They don't think about the strategy and then they wonder why their application doesn't have a strong story. So regardless of what college you're appearing for, you need to think bigger. Try to create that strategy up front. Whether you're trying to figure out how to get into an Ivy League as an international student or a domestic student, it's all part of smart college profile building strategies for the top universities, something too few students take seriously, and they don't take it seriously early enough. Thanks.